Hello everyone, today we re-plunging into the crystal clear waters of the Coral Sea to uncover one of nature's most breathtaking miracles, the largest animal-made structure on our entire planet. This colossal formation stretches for more than 2,300 kilometers, covers roughly 344,400 square kilometers, and is even visible from outer space. Most people would guess it was built by enormous whales, massive elephants, or some other giant creature of the wild, but the truth is far more astonishing. This entire masterpiece is crafted by billions of tiny, soft-bodied animals, no bigger than a fingernail, coral polyps. Together, these minuscule architects have built the Great Barrier Reef, a living, breathing monument to patience, teamwork, and the quiet power of small life that has shaped our planet for hundreds of thousands of years. Let's start with the sheer scale of this animal architecture to truly grasp its greatness. The Great Barrier Reef is not a single solid reef, but a complex system made up of more than 2,900 individual reefs and 900 small islands and cays winding along the northeast coast of Queensland, Australia. To put its size in perspective, it's larger than the United Kingdom, larger than Japan, and even bigger than many entire European countries. If you could walk along its full length, it would be like traveling from the northern tip of California to the southern border of Mexico, all built by creatures that weigh less than a grain of sand. What makes this even more remarkable is that it's the only structure made by living organisms that astronauts can spot from space, a glowing blue-green ribbon cutting through the deep blue of the Coral Sea. This is not just a pile of rock. It is a city, a forest, a nursery, and a fortress, all rolled into one, built entirely by the collective effort of tiny coral polyps, working across millennia. Now let us meet the master builders themselves, the coral polyps. These are simple, invertebrate animals, closely related to jellyfish and sea anemones, with soft, tube-shaped bodies and a ring of tiny tentacles surrounding their mouths. Most reef-building polyps are just 1 to 3 millimeters in diameter, so small you could fit dozens of them on the tip of your finger. They live in large colonies, sticking together to form massive communities that grow and expand over time. A single coral colony can contain millions of individual polyps, all connected by living tissue, working in perfect harmony. Unlike animals that build temporary nests or burrows, coral polyps build permanent rock-hard structures that outlive them by thousands of years. Their secret is calcium carbonate, the same mineral found in limestone and chalk. Coral polyps pull calcium and carbonate ions straight from the seawater around them, then secrete a hard cup-shaped skeleton around their fragile bodies. This skeleton is their home, their protection, and the building block of the entire reef. The process of building this giant structure is slow, steady, and endlessly persistent. When a coral polyp dies, its hard skeleton does not decay or wash away. It stays firmly in place, becoming a solid foundation for new polyps. Young polyps attach themselves to the skeletons of older generations, grow, secrete their own calcium carbonate, and continue the cycle. Over decades, centuries, and millennia, layer upon layer of these tiny skeletons piles up, compressing and hardening into solid limestone. The living part of the coral reef is only a thin, colorful layer on the very surface. Everything beneath it is the accumulated remains of millions of generations of coral polyps that lived and died over hundreds of thousands of years. Some slow-growing massive coral colonies can live for more than 1,000 years, growing just 1 to 2 centimeters per year, while fast-growing, branching corals can add 10 to 20 centimeters annually. Even with this growth, the reef only rises about 1 to 10 millimeters per year, on average. It takes tens of thousands of years to form a single reef, and hundreds of thousands more to create the vast system we call the Great Barrier Reef. A key part of this building process is a perfect symbiotic partnership between coral, polyps, and microscopic algae called zooxanthellae. These tiny algae live inside the coral's tissue, turning sunlight into energy through photosynthesis. The coral provides the algae with a safe, protected home and nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. In return, the algae produce sugars and oxygen that fuel up to 90% of the coral's energy needs, letting polyps grow, reproduce, and secrete their hard skeletons faster. This partnership also gives corals their bright, vibrant colors. Every shade of red, orange, pink, purple, and green you see on a healthy reef comes from the zooxanthellae living within the coral tissue. This is why corals only grow in shallow, clear, sunlit water, usually no deeper than 40 meters. They need sunlight for their algae partners to thrive. Without this delicate bond, coral polyps could never build structures anywhere near the size of the Great Barrier Reef. It is a perfect example of nature's teamwork, where two tiny life forms rely on each other to create something far greater than either could alone. The Great Barrier Reef is far more than just an impressive pile of limestone. It's Earth's most diverse marine ecosystem, often called the rainforest of the sea. Despite covering less than 0.1% of the ocean floor, it supports an astonishing 25% of all known marine species. More than 1,500 species of fish dart through its crevices, from tiny clownfish and neon-colored damselfish to large groupers and reef sharks. There are 400 different species of hard and soft corals, 4,000 types of mollusks, 630 species of echinoderms, like starfish and sea urchins, and over 200 species of birds that nest on its islands. It is a critical safe haven for endangered marine life, including 6 of the world's 7 species of sea turtles, gentle dugongs, often called sea cows, and humpback whales that travel thousands of kilometers from Antarctica to breed in its warm, protected waters. For countless species, the reef is a nursery where young animals grow up safe from predators, a hunting ground where predators find food, and a shelter where all creatures can find safety. Every crack, every branch, every ledge of this animal-built structure serves a purpose in this complex, interconnected web of life. This incredible structure also has a long and rich history intertwined with our planet's changes. The Great Barrier Reef began forming around 25 million years ago, but the modern reef we see today started growing roughly 20,000 years ago, after the last ice age. As glaciers melted and sea levels rose, the coastal plains of Australia were flooded, creating shallow, warm waters ideal for coral growth. Coral polyps colonized these flooded plains layer by layer, building up the reef as the sea continued to rise. For at least 60,000 years, indigenous Australian peoples have lived alongside and cared for the reef, relying on it for food, tools, and cultural traditions. They understand its rhythms, its seasons, and its needs, passing down knowledge through generations. In 1981, the Great Barrier Reef was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized as one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, a treasure belonging to all of humanity. Sadly, this ancient animal masterpiece now faces serious threats, mostly from human activity. Rising ocean temperatures, due to climate change, break the symbiotic bond between corals and zooxanthellae. When water gets too warm, corals expel their algae, turning white in a process called coral bleaching. Without their algae partners, corals lose their energy source and slowly die. Major bleaching events in 2016, 2017, and 2020 killed nearly half of the Great Barrier Reef's shallow water corals. Ocean acidification, caused by excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, makes it harder for corals to absorb calcium carbonate, slowing their growth and weakening their skeletons. Pollution from coastal runoff, plastic waste, overfishing, and invasive species like the crown of thorns starfish also damage the reef. But there is hope. Scientists are developing heat-tolerant corals, using coral EVF to regrow damaged areas, and expanding marine protected zones. Communities, governments, and conservation groups are working together to protect this tiny builder's legacy. What makes the Great Barrier Reef so deeply inspiring is that it shows us the greatest wonders of nature do not always come from the biggest, strongest, or most powerful creatures. It comes from patience, unity, and consistency. Billions of tiny, fragile animals, working together across hundreds of thousands of years, built something so large it can be seen from space, something that sustains millions of other lives, something that will stand long after we are gone. It teaches us that every small action matters, that even the tiniest beings can shape the planet in extraordinary ways. The next time you think of great architecture, do not only think of skyscrapers or ancient monuments. Think of the Great Barrier Reef, the greatest animal structure ever built, a timeless treasure crafted by the smallest architects in the natural world. It is a reminder that nature's most amazing stories are often hidden in the quiet, tiny corners of our planet, waiting for us to look closer and marvel at their magic. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel